fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Now, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, Junto, he has just faced off against another commander of the former Demon Lord. Now, Deku found out a few strange things in this fight. The second commander, he quite literally tore the top of their head off. And they kept fighting. It took Deku destroying the entire physical body they had for them to go down. And Deku, he'd learned exactly how destructive his power truly is. Deku, using level 3 strength magic, was able to destroy over 25 city blocks with 2 simple swings of his sword. Now, Deku, he did not hold back when it came to those blows, but it was still very interesting to him. Now, with that being said, Deku, yeah, he did take off running with Tusca. And, well, the two, they spent 2 hours moving quickly, until Deku, he did believe that they were finally somewhere safe. Now, we actually do have currently Deku sitting down in an alleyway, as he does go to examine his arms. Now, he did find it to be quite interesting. His arms, they do appear to be healing, along with the front of his legs. However, there's a problem. His instantaneous healing is not currently activating. He believes that it might be because of certain factors. The weapons they used, how powerful the man was. It's just, well, his body might be overloaded. Now, we do actually have Tusca, who she does actually watch Junto, who, as he does get a cough, he does cough up some blood. Him looking down at his hand. Ah, shit. Lord Junto, are you alright? I think so. Listen, we need to get back to the airship now. But my lord, that trip, it's not easy to make. Could you make it in your condition? I should be fine. My healing should activate. My lord, your healing isn't working. I do have a few ideas. It's been tough for me too, but this realm, it may operate under different rules. Okay, so it wasn't just me with that theory. My lord? Okay. I'm used to an area where nothing can harm me. I'm staying in an area where I'm godlike. However, here, people, they have rankings. My ranking is still somewhat low compared to everyone else's. And, the guy I just faced off against was a high-ranking demon, serving directly under the former Demon Lord. So, that may be it. Here I'm weak, there I'm strong. My lord, is that really what you believe? It would make sense. All these strange weapons, the fact that that one cleaved through my skin like butter, the fact that I'm still healing from it, there could be no other explanation. This place poses an actual threat to my life. My lord. And that means it poses a greater threat to your own. But, sir, I've been able to manage. I've been trying to keep up. I know. You're trying your best, Tusca, but you can't protect me here. Now, Deku just watched Tusca's expression. he just watched as it went from, we're gonna make it through this, to, oh, I understand. Tusca, this place is out of my league. It's far out of your own. Fuck. Okay. Now, we do actually have Deku where he does hear something close by. And he does immediately get on guard. Tusca? Hmm? My lord? Deku going to bring his hand up. As he does, grab onto Tusca and pull her directly close to him. And she actually does have her face turn bright red. Lord Gento? Hmm? Stay close. Something's nearby. Hmm? Now, Deku, yeah. He does actually go to look up, as he does see glowing red eyes staring back at him. And he does go to bring his hand up, asking them exactly who are they. Well, me. That would be quite simple. Now, the person is going to jump down. And Deku just watches the woman. She is going to land on her feet. And Deku does just stare right at her. Pale white skin, white hair, and red eyes. Now, Tusca, she is going to move forwards, as she just thinks that she can take this person on. Now, Deku does stare at Tusca, as she is going to take 3 steps forwards before Deku is going to bring up his hand, directly in front of her face. And Tusca, all of a sudden, she does have blood splatter onto it. Now, she's going to take a step backwards, as she's going to fall onto her ass, and you just see her lord with his hand pointed out, as Deku is actually wincing in pain. Now, the vampire does stare at Junto, as they do go to pull back their finger and go to lick the blood off of their nail. Quite the taste. That's something I haven't had in a while. Blood? No, no, no. A new flavor. Something new, something exciting. My, I'll say I'll have to take your blood for myself. Nice try. Deku to say. Him looking down at the hole in his hand. He can't move his middle fingers. And it hurts a lot. Now, Vampire does just stare at Junto. And Deku, he does ask her exactly what is she doing here. Oh my, sorry, I should have introduced myself. I am the third commander. Fuck me. Now, the vampire does just look at Junto, as she has not taken a single step. Deku knows for a fact that she's not carrying weapons. He can see that. However, there's those nails. If they can elongate to any distance, Tusca is in danger. However, she's safer where she is right now. If she tries to run around the city, she's basically as helpless as a child. So, Deku does actually going to take a step backwards, bringing his hand up and telling Tusca to stay behind cover. Oh my, you're quite persistent to protect that one, aren't you? I am, yes. However, what exactly are you doing here? What exactly are you talking about? The fact that you haven't attacked me already, other than my hand, Deku to say. As he is going to try and, grab a healing potion. The moment Deku does grab one, he does go to pour it onto his hand, as the hole does begin to at least stop bleeding and close up. Now, Deku, he does look at the vampire, as they're looking at the red liquid running down his arm and down his shoulders, along with what's currently on the ground. So, you wish to speak to me about something, is that correct? Yes. I was tasked with looking over you, seeing exactly what you would do. Your brutality, the stories I've heard, do not live up to it. I see. Now, Deku just stared down at the vampire, asking her what she has heard. Now, we do have in Deku's mind, 2 parallel minds are currently working on the task of what they needed to do at the airship, Meanwhile, all the other 10, they're panicking and trying to go over all the information they know about vampires. From what they know, the one way to take control of a vampire is to have their true name, and they should have a skill that gives them that. However, there's a problem. If a vampire does find out your true name afterwards, the fact is they can take control. It's like, well, breaking the pact. You gain control over a vampire by having their name, but if they have yours, they have the right to drain you of all your blood. Now, Deku, he does find it to be quite fascinating. It's a simple little thing. It works both ways, and this is the fact that vampires, they do make bonds, or at least pacts with certain people. Now, vampires making a bond is something that Deku, he's still looking into. However, this pact, you can call it, it's quite simple. You give a vampire your blood, and they will accomplish a task for you. That is quite interesting to him. He's wondering if that would work on this one since it's considered to be a new flavor. Now, Junto does stare at the vampire, as he does just think. Okay. Now, the vampire is still staring at Junto. And Deku, he feels like he's already in the crosshairs of an enemy. However, you actually have Tusca. She feels defenseless. She didn't even see that last movement, that last attack. And there's that look in that thing's eyes. It's, well, staring at them like food, isn't it? Now, we actually do have back to Junto's point of view. He's using a skill. He uses it to reach stats. However, if he does at least look at it more, he can find out more information. He has to maintain focus. Now, Deku would look at the vampire's level and skill. The level is currently at least 325. And Deku is very surprised by that. This vampire, from what he does understand, this is her name. And well, it should be true. There's multiple other things here telling him what this vampire can do. And Deku does just look at the vampire. It's telling her that he would like to make a bond with her. Now, the vampire does go to move. And Deku, he does go a bit jumpy and go to bring up his hands. As the vampire, it's already behind Junto. And it does go to bring its hands up and wrap them around his shoulders. You wish to enter a bond with me. Now, Tusca, she does go on the offensive, as she does go to at least try and strike down the enemy, as the vampire does just turn around and directly knock the wind out of Tusca with a backhand. And Tusca, she does go falling onto her knees and collapsing, as she's at least on the verge of passing out. Now, we do actually have where the vampire does go to turn back to Junto. And Deku, he does feel at least a bit of fear. His heart is racing. And well, it's crazy. Her movements, they were way too fast. The moment he blinked, she moved. Now, he's just trying to wonder. What is my name? Demon. Your name. Deku saying the name he saw, as the vampire does just at least smile. Perfect. You should be aware. Entering this bond can be a bit problematic. My commander, my boss, the offspring of the Demon Lord, if they know my true name as well as you, then it could be quite problematic. I will not be able to fight for either one of you. She won't have my simple little agreement. She has yet to form a pact with me just like you are. I am on neither one of your sides. Her going to run her hands along Junto's nape, as Deku does still stand there. However, if she does not know my name, I will be more of an ally to you. Now, Deku, he is asked once again, is he sure he doesn't want to enter this pact? Now, Deku he does just say yes, as the vampire does sink its teeth into Deku's neck. And Deku he does feel that intense pain for a minute, as he does actually feel something rush over him. And he feels calm for a minute. He feels lightheaded. His body feels at peace. Now, the vampire does go savor the flavor, since this blood, it's fresh, it tastes new. And well, the vampire does feed a little bit too much. As we actually have where Deku, he does go to drop forwards onto his knees, as the vampire does go to break away from his nape, as it does go to wipe its mouth and look at Junto, talking about how he's now been marked with her symbol. Now, Deku's quite confused. However, he doesn't have too much time to think about it before he does go to pass out. Now, we do actually have the vampire, who does look at both of these two, as she does go to bring her hands up and run her fingers through her hair, as she does go to look over all the information she has just gained. Now, it's quite interesting to her, these memories, the ones that she can see, they're quite powerful. Now, she does think for a minute, Junto, that has to be this man's true name. She can just bleed him dry. She can have her fun. She can... Her looking quite confused. This isn't this man's name. Neither is Dorzaya. There's no mention of his name in his memories. Now, she does actually go to look over towards the other person, thinking that she can harvest her blood and find out the name. However, she wouldn't know either. Now, this does go to piss her off, as she does just go to walk over and pick up Junto, going to pick up the other one as she does, well, head out. Now, we do have in a hotel room where Deku does go to wake up. As he does go to sit up, he's quite confused and lightheaded, as he does bring his hands up to the bite mark and feel the area. The moment he does realize that there's a bandage right there, he does look a bit more shocked. You're finally awake. Deku turning his head to see the vampire. Now, he's quite confused. She's sitting in sunlight. The thing that's concealed is her face. How the hell is that possible? Unlike many of the stories that have been spread, my people can walk in the day. We prefer not to. Interesting. Now, Deku, he does, well, at least ask her a question. What the hell happened? After you two passed out, I brought you here. Here? Part of my contract. My bond. Your bond? Yes. A bond is seen as a final mission. It's a devotion, you could call it. I devote myself to you and I get your true name. In return, once my mission's completed, I get to drain you dry. However, there's a problem with that. I see. Well, your name you don't even know, do you? No, I wouldn't. Deku going to bring his hand down, as he does grab something. Before he does look down to his right, and he does see Tusca. Him going to bring his hand away, as he does ask exactly why are they both in the same bed. I could only afford one room with that money you had. Money I had? Yes, that one. I bought you medical aid from a doctor. Then I brought you here. really. It's a bit of a waste, don't you think? Not really. As far as I see it, I'm attached to you at the hip. So the least I could do is waste your money. Geez, doesn't that sound familiar? Now, Deku does go to try and stand up and get out of bed, as he does notice something. The bloody clothes he was wearing earlier, they're not on his body anymore. He does look quite confused. As he does just go to snap his fingers, and a cloak does appear on his body. The vampire quite interested. Exactly what sort of magic is that? Don't worry about it. Now, Deku does go to look back at Tusca, as he does go to grab the covers and cover her body with them. Okay. Well, what can you tell me about this person you're commanded under? The offspring of the Demon Lord? Yes. I will tell you as much information as I can, however it will not be very much. Now, the vampire does begin to start talking, and Deku he does at least listen, as he does pay attention. The vampire is going over everything. These are the territories that this way or area of the world does work under. This is how big the area currently is. As the vampire does at least go to pull a map from a bag she does have, talking about how this is this region, this is this region, this is all this over here. And she's basically breaking down everything to Junto. Now, Deku's quite interested. From what he can tell, this world is far bigger than he ever imagined. The area they know, it's gotta be so small. Now, Deku does find this to be quite interesting. This is the planet that 30 billion once lived on. It makes sense that it's larger than Earth, but this side is gotta be 4 times? It's crazy. Now, Deku does look at the demon, or the vampire, as she's continuing explaining. And 45 minutes would pass before you do actually have Tusca, who she does go to wake up. Now, the first thing she does notice when she does open her eyes is the intense pain in her body, as she does go to sit up before she does turn her head, seeing Lord Junto as she does go to focus to the right and have her eyes adjust, as you do have the vampire who's sitting there talking, and she does go to jump up on the bed, as she does immediately bring her hands up to go and fight. Her going to reach for her waist to grab her weapon, as she does look down and notice something. She's missing a few things. Before Junto, after turning his head, he does look at her, and she just stare down at him, before quickly just leaping back down to the bed and grabbing the covers, asking what the hell happened. Yeah, that's a long story. A long story? Lord Junto, last thing I remember is she bit you. Yeah. That's something I remember too. It still hurts. However, well, for right now, she's not on our side, but she will help us. Lord Junto, that's not really my first priority. Where are my garments? They're all soaked in blood. So our friend here discarded them. Now, Deku he does go to bring his hand up, as he does at least pull out what appears to be a set of clothes. He does stare at them quite confused. It's another cloak and, well, at least some type of long shirt and pants. And she is going to grab them, as Junto does talk about how they'll probably find better garments once they do go into town. However, right now this is what she can use. Now, the vampire does watch Junto, as he's trying not to look in her direction anymore to stop her from further embarrassment. and she does look at Tusca, who, yeah, she can tell that something's going on there. She can hear that girl's heart rate increase, and right now it's going through this, well, going through the roof. Now, she does go to ask a question, asking exactly where their allies are. Our allies? Yes, I'm quite curious about it. From what I understand, I heard you talk about them. I wish to accompany you. Now, Deku, he does stare at the vampire, telling her that for right now they're going to head out to their place. However, right now it's gonna be Deku trying to think for a minute. The information he heard last night, it's still a bit weird. He does have that feeling still in his mind. However, there's those things she did say. If the commander knows her name, she can't interfere, since Deku knows it as well. So this is perfect. There's also the fact that he used a bond against her, and she's basically stuck to him. Now, Deku, he does know that there's a third option to get out of it. The bond. It's quite simple. And, well, it's also a bit tricky at the same time. Now, for right now, Deku does want to keep her at his side like this, since it does mean that they'll have a greater chance of defeating the Demon Lord, or whoever is in charge. Now, Deku, he does stand up and put on some extra clothes, as he does inform the vampire that they're going to head to their airship now. The vampire is looking quite confused, as Deku does go to walk outside. Now, the vampire, yeah, just gonna do one simple thing. Her reaching into her bag as she does go to grab something to cover her eyes. What appears to be a pair of goggles, and Deku does stare at that. As the vampire does explain, with their vision, they can see perfectly in the dark. However, seeing in the daytime is quite trickier. These lenses, they're made to be blacked out. A normal person, they would hardly be able to see. However, for vampires, they're made specifically to see in the day. Now, Tusca, she doesn't really understand that. Her eyes, they naturally adjust, so she doesn't really have to worry about that. However, Deku, he does sort of understand it. Vampires are made to be nocturnal predators. However, here that doesn't seem to be the case. He's still interested in how all that stuff does work here. But for right now, he'll keep that in the back of his head. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. Catch you guys in the next part.